Alright, hello and welcome. This is Ned. Today I wanted to go through the Zwift Insider Tiny Races that I did today. For a set of 4 pretty short races. All about 5 minutes, so very hard 5 minutes and then a sprint. Well, depending on the course, it could have been something else, but most of these all ended in a sprint. This was the first one. We started out on the Neokyo crit course. Can't say it's my favorite. There's not really anything that breaks up the field. There's just sort of a few gentle rises in the middle and some twisty bits that at least look interesting but don't seem to change much. This race started as most Zwift races. It's going out pretty hard. Since it's short, people are definitely pushing a little more than they would in a long race. I think this was the third set of Zwift Tiny Races of the day. Definitely the least well attended, but it's the afternoon North America time. So you don't get quite as many Europeans involved, and it's just early in the day for the Australian New Zealanders. We've still got 40 people in here. You say the group's pretty compact. Someone's trying to go off the front. With such a small distance to go, everyone's gonna be ready to chase. We never really have figured out this little section. I guess we're avoiding some pedestrians, which is probably good. But yeah, for most of these, I'm really just trying to chill at the back and then be in position for the sprint. There's definitely some strong sprinters. I know H. Lee Zwift Fighter in here, Lucier. There's Olivier Gagnon on Alpha, and a few others that are quite strong. Yeah, one of the interesting things about this series of races is each race has its own power-up, and everyone gets it, so there's no lottery. You know what you're getting. In this course, you could get it in 2 different places. Once at each of the sprints that you go through. I just use it here on the biggest hill on the Neokyo crit course. I've always sort of used it as a moment to move up through the field. Then you can sort of drift backwards until the next sort of harder portion, next little rise. Because I feel it's always a little easier to move up when you're going uphill. Yeah, this is Neokyo looks nice, but I guess I just don't really enjoy this course too much. No, definitely using the DT Swiss Aero wheels with the solid disc in the back. Got the Venge. I think that's still the fastest bike, though various points others have gone faster. I think they've all been adjusted back below this one. No climbs to speak of, so not using the Tron. Certainly not any of the climbing bikes. Yeah, with the draft as a power-up for this one, just want to make sure I'm in the draft for the sprint. There's sort of a little bit of elevation gain coming after the sprint banner. So I'll make sure I stay close to the front, especially since we're getting down to the last mile. This is only a 6-minute race. You sort of just settled and you're like, oh, it's time for the end. Of course, I'm all the way at the back still. But as it goes uphill, I definitely want to be closer to halfway up if we're getting down to 1K to go. Yeah, moving up, especially if no one pushed it through these little rises, so wasn't a whole lot to do, though. Yeah, now we're stretching a little more. Here's like Flanagan, yeah, makes the early move. We'll see him again. Definitely stretching it. So we're up to, 5 watts kilo. I guess I backed off. Didn't want to go too early to be in the wind. I think I start this sprint just a little bit late. So I never quite know where the finish line is. I haven't done the sprint enough. See, everyone's clicked their drafts. I think I hit mine right when I wanted to, just after 0.3. Really think that little S should be the moment to go. I always start my sprint here. Now everyone's going. I'm on the pack at the front, and boom, I pop out of my pedal. So try to clip back in, didn't quite work. Push a little bit. And yeah, sort of disappointing to get 12th. Let's run that back for just the sprint. So I'm in position, but yeah, definitely having problems with keeping my right pedal and the right cleat connected to the pedal. But yeah, 0.3 just after hit that draft. I think it goes all the way to the end. I'm a little bit late getting on the power. I kind of waited until we got into the 1,000-foot mark. Maybe I should have been using metric to get a little bit more differentiation. But here, yeah, was doing well. I think I would have held on to the back end of those guys up front. But obviously didn't when you completely lose power 5 or 6 seconds from the end. But yeah, actually, I felt rather good in that race. It wasn't too hard. I think I did 4.1 watts per kilo, 287 watts. Perfectly fine. Hey, wait, 8 minutes later, we're on to the second one. This time, are you doing the bell lap in Crit City? I think I like the bell lap direction on Crit City more. When I first started, I felt the opposite. But I really like the way the sprint ends up for this course. You have just enough time after the downhill to recover, and even if people go hard, you can normally keep them close and still get a good sprint. And it seems like the sprint on this one is actually pretty long most of the time because of where the corners are, like what you can see. But yeah, we've started, and people are going a little hard at the front. And we're up at 5 watts a kilo still. I think that's pretty normal, though, for this course, even if a longer race. And I almost felt like no one really attacked at any point. There's definitely times people do the 8 watts a kilo up that hill to try to get a gap. Here, sort of no one's going. Oh, well, we'll just sit in and have fun. We have lost someone off the back. I think this race only ends up being 5 minutes, so it was pretty hard. I think H. Lee Zwift Fighter won that first race, so yeah, well done. And here, I don't bother to even try to make it to 35 miles per hour. I just let off the gas. And now I'm at the back. Probably should have tried a little harder to get the super tuck. Could have stayed up a little further. And then drifted back on this flat section. Out here, we're just enjoying the ride. Like, I haven't done this race in a while. We got 3 months ago was the last time I went this direction. Oh, that was just 2 months ago in there. You see, I didn't even do my fastest time through the prime section up at the top of the hill. I thought, oh, missed the attack that someone from, I think, Restart did. And hey, we get a ghost power-up. That's exciting. Probably my least favorite power-up. Well, certainly for a race like this, where there's in essence nothing to be gained from it. It's sort of impossible to get far enough away to be outside of the draft with just one 10-second burst. You see you disappear, they might just go faster anyway. See, yeah, there's someone. Usually they got just in front of us, barely with more speed. And they did get a gap here, which is good, but we're on the last lap of the Chris City race. Everyone's going to be going hard through here. We're all doing 6, so I just used mine for no particular reason. Maybe to induce other people to chase, because someone else had used theirs ahead of me. And like, oh, if we keep everything together, it'll be nice and easy. At least this time we're going through the downhill quite a bit faster. Be able to get a super tuck. Still in good position, though the people up front do have a bit of gap, and we're catching up through some back markers. Yeah, good super tuck here, keeping the speed up. It's so hard to hold that gap there once the group goes down that hill. We're sort of slowly reeling them in. Especially as people use ghosts and try to attack, but they just sort of stretch the group and get us all the way back together. And actually, I'm up to 6 or 7. Sort of do the 10 watts kilo start of the sprint. Really should have hit it here, I think. But I really hit it hard there. Here I'm nearing the front, but then there's some strong sprints behind me. Not sure if I get the front a little bit too early there, but there's no way I was beating Alpha, the guy from Alpha who won. He just had too much power. Let's run this back, though. Exactly sort of where I want to be, this far out, near the back of the main pack, with some momentum to sort of make my way to the front. See, we're all doing 5 to 6 watts kilo. It was near the front. It looked like there was enough momentum from everybody that never really hit the wind. We never slowed down here either. Yeah, my point to go is normally always right at this chicane. Ends up being a long sprint, but normally there's someone in front of you that will carry you through this section, or you have a power-up that actually helps you. In this case, if someone's stronger, they will go by. And hello, there's the C's. Yeah, that's a good result, so 4th place behind Noah. And some other high-quality racers, but yeah, did 4.7 watts kilo for 331 watts, not bad. Yeah, couldn't quite hold the sprints of the OG. So that was a fun race, number 2. And for race number 3, we're doing the LaGuardia Loop Reverse. So this is the flatter finish version of LaGuardia Loop. The other direction goes up a hill and then descends into the finish. This one does that in the other direction right after the start-finish line. So it's like the one place you can break the race up. But here I always enjoy this start. If you get enough speed right off the bat, you can go hard and then immediately super tuck your way to relaxation or recovery. Ah, and this one's nice. We've got the arrow power up. People using them right away. I'm not sure that's the absolute best tactic, to, at least for this course. I think you want to use them when everyone else is using theirs. Because here it just sort of sends you to the front. And unless you really want to attack, what's the point? But yeah, here's one of the probably the hardest climb. But it's so close to the start that you're never really going to drop anybody there. Feels like we still have all the same people from the previous races. I kind of like this course more than other ones we've done. It's just a little bit more elevation change. Got to be a little bit more aware of where you are in the group, moving up during these like 2% rises. And the downhill sprint into the start finish line on the sprint point is a fast one. Which sort of means if you go too early, you can definitely be eaten up by the strong sprinters from behind. But here we have someone off the front. Couldn't even really tell that someone went up there, but hey, they made an effort. That's great. Keeping the bunch honest. Once again, I am sitting where I always sit in these races, just behind the fat part of the group. Don't want to compete with those in front of me for wheels, and if I drop back a little bit, you sort of have to push hard to get to where you want to be. Not that you could probably ride a little bit easier further back, you just have to be a little more aware of what's going on. And trust in your ability to get back to the front. So here's everyone's going to drop their arrows, so I do coming down that hill, give us the most speed possible. Push to make sure I'm up in a good position for the little downhill. A couple of people get away here, they'll at least have a chance if they work hard. But only one is really going up the road, so they're going to have a hard time. Because you have to make it through the downhill afterwards with your gap intact. But here's some good opportunity for some super tucking. Yeah, the whole group stayed together. It's hard to break up a group of A's with so little. Well, I guess there's a bit more fatigue because it's the third race, but even then, everyone is still rather fresh. Only done one moderate effort. Wow, we got more back markers to sort of ride through. We got a whole D group. It's kind of fun that you get to see the chats from the other races on the sides. Now here, if I was racing on RGT, I'd be a little annoyed at being off on the edge completely. But hey, this is Zwift. I don't think it's so bad. Looks like, yeah, people were getting down to the mile to go. Just sort of gotten into the race. We were already at the finish. It's a nice short race. A few people pushing on the front. I push a little bit to make sure we get through the D-pack without anyone sort of getting away. The group is big enough, and our group is big enough that we can just sort of go right on through. Now here, there's sort of a little rise. 0.4, 0.5. This is the 0.6 rise, so there's a 0.4 mile rise. Or even 0.3 mile rise that comes up here. You want to stay close enough that you can attack it on the downhill when someone else does. This is not a sprint I want to go first on. Maybe if I was heavier and had more watts. Someone's going. Probably want to pick it up. Make sure that they're going through. Yep, we're just over the rise that just happened. We're at 0.2 to go. Start that arrow. Everyone else has. Right, some good power. Sort of right where I want to be. 1,000. And once again, I pop out of the pedal. Get a little bit more, stay close. So this time I was a little closer to the finish when I popped out of the pedal. But it keeps on happening. Pedal, the cleat doesn't look worn, but I should probably investigate that. I did tighten the pedal after this one. We're going through the finish again. As a 0.3, here's that little 2% rise that you want to make sure you're ready for, especially if someone attacks, like I think it was Flanagan did here. Yeah. Probably could have been a little bit closer. But I think I was messing around with my power up. I think I hit it twice there. But yeah, I definitely could have passed the 4 people in front of me. I would not have let all of those other people pass me. Don't think I would have won, though. The OG did another high-quality sprint. I feel like I would have gotten some really good speed right there at the end. Oh well. That was another good one. And the nice thing about a tiny race, you only gotta wait 8 minutes for another. Gotta get your ranking points. So this race is a little bit longer. We're doing the volcano circuit. This is the, I don't know if it's the easier direction, it's the easier finish direction. Though it's also the direction that sort of allows for attacks that from a mile out. Or even, it might be a little more than a mile. So if you can really sustain a long effort, this is the one, this is the course to do that on. This race definitely went out easier than almost any other race I think I've ever done. But we are on the 4th of 4 sprinty races. You want a sprint workout, I think this is one of the ways to do it. It'd be really fun to do this as a team, because you could definitely post-mortem each race for a couple of minutes, and at least if you were going to do an attack or two, you can try to coordinate like where the points are on the course. Here we have, oh, this one we got feathers, so they'll be 2 feathers for this race, so we're using them. This looks like people are using them, so we decided to use it here instead of going up to the arch, because people are definitely pushing pretty hard. At least someone's, yeah, getting close to going off the front. But really, yeah, since we're going uphill, I don't mind sort of holding position or moving up. Just don't want to push too hard. Point here is just to relax and get to the finish where I want to sprint. Yeah, and here we're going down. Don't mind moving backwards. Everything's compact. No one's going anywhere on the front. I'm even moving up. So, no impetus in the field. So we get a little preview of the finish. It was like this one. This has sort of like two short step-ups that are only 2 or 3%, I think. So they're not, it's not a tremendously hard finish, but it's not just flat. But here, now, once again, we have someone going off the front, because that was pretty easy, definitely worth making other people chase if you just don't want to wait for the end. Gotta get your workout in. But as with these sprint races, there's more than enough people willing to do 5 watts per kilo for a couple of minutes before the end of the sprint, or the start of the sprint, end of the race. Yeah, going around this corner, and then there's a few little rises. Guess that one actually goes to 6. Yeah, because that's the one where you need to be on the power all the way before you hit that, or else you'll just go backwards. You want speed going into it. But yeah, one more little rise. This one's only 4. So you need to be on the power all the way to the line, too. So that's what makes this direction tough. The other direction, though, is quite a bit harder with the longer ramp and then this snaky uphill bit. Yeah, once again, we got an attacker over the top there. But just don't feel like that's a great place to attack on this course, and that you just are going to get eaten up on this little downhill section, especially with how big this group is and it's compact. This momentum is way too much. You see down at the bottom, they're going right back through the group. The other problem is the ramp coming up. Everyone knows that's where you have to go. It's like the most successful attacks I've seen on this happen after the top of this if no one pushes, or after it slows down after the second little bump after the ramp. That's sort of the most successful place to get a gap. But it's still hard to do on the last lap when everyone's at least wanting to get to the end and have a chance. Especially if there's a team working for one person. Yeah, see, everyone's popping their feathers. So it doesn't seem like the best place for that. We've got that 6% rise going into the finish. If you're using it here, you're just... and not going off the front, you're just sort of wasting a power-up. Yeah, here's a little bump where people are always sort of, you push to up and over this, and then you back off if you don't have a gap. Though in this case, the person who attacked on the ramp got a pretty good gap. That was well done. Yeah, most of the time it sort of slows down after the bottom of this here. Like this section, there's normally a lull that you could make an effort, but here there's someone off the front, so there's not a huge point. It looks like we are reeling them in, even though we're slowing down a little bit. So yeah, it's hard to attack when you're going 30 miles per hour. I think once again we have Flanagan make a second effort. He was definitely enlivening the races. See, he's behind me. Yeah, he's going to go past the early attacker. But now we have the Alpha team get on the front, at least keep the gap close, which is actually pretty important, I think, for this one. If they wouldn't have gone on the front at 6, I'm not sure. I think Flanagan would have gotten away, though. Maybe without the OG up there, someone else would have gone a little bit harder. Yeah, but Flanagan got 3 seconds. That was a little lazy, not staying too close. It was the 4th of the races, was a little tired. But now we're down to 0.4, we're going around the corner where gonna need to drop that power up. Because here, Henry Lee, or Lee Zwift Fighter, really starts to go. It's well done. I guess I'm sort of in the spot I want to be, so it could be closer. I think I hit it just a little late. But I'm going 900 watts up the ramp, which is good. Good position here. We got some really strong people behind me. We make it past Flanagan. 3 people past me, but I make it past the Zwift Fighter. But the OG takes the win, so we can look at that again. Flanagan's move here is really quite nice. It's like, oh, we've caught the guy, but we really haven't. It was good work by Harris, I think, to keep us close. Sort of wondering if I should get closer, but I was sort of happy where I was. I'm in front of the pack. So I'll have a good position to start the sprint, especially as people go by me. But yeah, here's where he's doing 7, so he's definitely working a little harder. It was interesting to see the Alpha team go backwards here. The OG was definitely strong enough to sort of make up for dropping back many positions right at 0.3, which is hard to do. I think he did 16 watts kilos, which is pretty good. It was nice to be a little lighter for the sprint. Yeah, a couple of guys who beat me a couple of races, so it was well done by them. But yeah, I ended up 4th. Not a bad set of races. Good ranking points. Fun little series sort of created by Eric Schleiny, Zwift Insider. Thanks for setting it up. It's a lot of fun. Definitely a good set of races. And interesting to see how other people do these short races later on. Right. Well, thanks everyone.